Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another installment of my DVD collection. I did one of these a few weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun, so here we are again. So, I'm going to start out with the double feature of Dead End Drive-In and Cut and Run. Now, I have both of these. I think, well, actually, I don't have both of these on Blu-ray. I only have Cut and Run on Blu-ray. So the reason why I'm still holding on to this is for Dead End Drive-In. I actually haven't seen either of these yet. I just remember the trailer for Dead End Drive-In. I just remember the whole thing with Dead End Drive-In. For some reason, I just remember the trailer with its obnoxious way that it said the title for the film. Next up is Batman Year One, the two-disc special edition. Here we have a Jet Li film in Meltdown. I love what's like it's his biggest action movie ever, but it's like a film that I pretty much have not heard much of anything about. Like it's one of his most forgotten films if you think about it. Here we have the film Let the Right One In with the lenticular cover. As you can see, I still have the buyback sticker on there because they're a pain in the ass to take off. I only got this because it was $1. That's really it. And also to see what the hype is about. I still haven't seen it yet, though. Here we have a Clint Eastwood thriller in The Line of Fire. I would like to upgrade this. I would like to get this on Blu-ray or 4K because this is a good thriller. Then we have The Lincoln Lawyer with Matthew McConaughey. Killer Movie. The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. It's a good one. It's classic. The Devil's Tomb with Cuba Gooding Jr. Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Lightning Bug. The other Lionheart movie, the Middle Ages fantasy film. I think it's actually a sword and sorcery movie. Or similar to something like that. Yeah, featuring Eric Stoltz and Gabriel Byrne. Got Highlander 2, the special edition. Flight with Denzel Washington. Documentary called Behind the Planet of the Apes, which is actually really good. Very informative, very entertaining. I actually like this probably more than any of the original Planet of the Apes movies. I'm not saying that I don't like any of them. I just really like the behind the scenes documentary. Horror film called Comforting Skin. Other horror movie called Varsity Blood. Sick. Survive the Night. We've got The Thaw. Ninja. Scott Adkins. Fun action flick. The sequel. Ninja 2. Shadow of a Tear. Shock Treatment. The sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. A custom release of this out of print series, Dark Room, which was a horror anthology series that Was very short-lived. Only lasted 7 episodes. Hosted by James Coburn. This actually does have the original overseas out of print discs with the menus and everything. They're just burned onto a custom disc. So that's Dark Room. Arguably, probably one of the most obscure horror anthology or just anthology TV shows out there. A lot of people are pretty much in the dark when it comes to that show. We have Hoosiers with Gene Hackman. National Lampoon's Movie Madness. Street Fighter Alpha, the movie. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. 4-movie marathon of Slither, Altered, Cry Wolf, and The Return. Stripes. I don't like the fact that you can't watch the theatrical cut. I think that's bullshit. And I also don't like the fact that the 4K release is only in some expensive-ass box set. The Kingdom with Jamie Foxx. Instinct to Kill with Mark Dacascos. Frankenstein Unbound, John Hurt. Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman. The Hunting Party with Richard Gere and Terrence Howard. The Freakmaker. Iron Will. Triple feature of Blood Monkey, Maneater, and In the Spider's Web. Night of the Lepus, aka the Killer Rabbit movie. Giant killer rabbits. The 70s, man. Weird time. Appleseed. Fatso with Dom DeLuise. The Mercs collection. Pretty cheap. Pretty bad transfers. It's got Tiger Joe, War Bus, something called Manigan's Force, Strike Commando, Operation Nam, Fireback, Soldier of Fortune, Death Raiders, Raiders of the Lost Ivory, and Last Mercenary. Another multi-pack, this time with The Craft, Monster High, Fright Night, and Brain Scan. By the way, Fright Night is actually the original film, but it has cover art that is clearly trying to be closer to the remake. The only reason why I still have this is for Monster High, because I have all of the other 3 on Blu-ray. Madman. The Blu-ray is out of print. Never really had a chance to get it. I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for it, so I'm fine with the DVD. Desperado with Banderas. The Dead. Protocol. Goldie Hawn. Iron Eagle. It's a fucking shame and it's absolute bullshit that this is still not on Blu-ray. Like, what the hell? This was a decent hit. It had like 3 sequels. Why is this not on Blu-ray? Why is this film not on Blu-ray? Why is it only on DVD? Why? Is it music rights? Like, what the fuck? It's got a fan base too. It would sell decently well. From like Kino Lorber or Shout Factory or Mill Creek. I just don't get it. Why the fuck is this not on Blu-ray? Iron Eagle. Speaking of Iron Eagle, we got the sequels. We got Iron Eagle 2, Iron Eagle 3 Aces, which for some reason is on Blu-ray. This is on Blu-ray, but not Iron Eagle. And then Iron Eagle on the Attack, which is probably the rarest one. I got this at a Value Village that no longer exists. And I could not believe it was even there. I was like, really? Wow. That's pretty awesome. And I've never seen it again. Cannibal the Musical with Matt Stone, Trey Parker, Trauma film. Have a drama, The Indian Runner. Thriller mystery called The Last of Sheila. A steelbook DVD of I think it's a French release. Light of Day with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett. Pretty overlooked drama where with Michael J. Fox playing a pretty different kind of role. This is region locked, so it doesn't work on region A players. So unless you have a region free player, it's not going to work. Got a decent deal on this. It was only like $10 in store, which was a good deal. This is another one I'm surprised is it doesn't have an official release in the U.S. This doesn't even have a release in the U.S. on DVD. Only has one overseas, and they're pretty pricey, pretty expensive, and it's a pretty decent film actually. If you like Michael J. Fox, I would definitely recommend it. The Last Circus. Devilman, the live-action adaptation of a popular anime. After I bought this, I read some reviews, and apparently it's pretty shitty. But I didn't pay a lot for it, and it just looked interesting. And whatever price I did pay was worth it just for this. This Tokyo Shock trailer disc. If you're a fan of trailer compilations like I am, this is a really fun addition to anyone's collection. This is just hundreds of Tokyo Shock trailers of various different genres. It's split up by genre, and it's got just a ton of them. Hundreds of trailers of all different genres. And it's a nice way to get a different kind of flavor for your trailer compilation. So a lot of trailer compilations are usually exclusively in English. So this is a lot of fun to have something that is focusing more on foreign films, specifically a lot of Asian films. So it's a nice way to get a taste of that kind of cinema with trailers. Speaking of Asian cinema, here's Detective Story, which is a Takashi Miike film. And next up is Screwed with Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle, Danny DeVito. Was curious about this one. Finally was able to pick a copy up, because I've pretty much been screwed when it comes to finding that movie for quite a long time until recently. Sybil. It's the next one here. This is a 30th anniversary 2 special edition. This is a television movie that got a lot of acclaim. One of Sally Field's best performances, where she plays this woman who has multiple personality disorder and has all these different personalities. And I've always heard about the film, but I never really had the chance to see it. I never really watched it yet, and I've always been curious about it because of Sally Field's performance and just because of the overall concept of it. Here we have It, Terror from Beyond Space, which is a film that inspired a ton of different movies. Alien, Creature, you name it. The Collector with Terrence Stamp and Samantha Eggar. Charles Bronson film, Rider on the Rain. The Big Fix with Richard Dreyfuss. Film called Mob Justice. Now, this is an interesting title. Mob Justice is actually just a retitled episode of a miniseries that aired in the late 80s, early 90s. It's called In the Line of Duty. And this miniseries had some other releases on home video. One was called The FBI Murders. Then you had this one, Mob Justice. And they were based supposedly on true stories, on real life cases of bravery from the police department. So yeah, it was based on true stories of real cops and real situations. And this is one of those episodes of that miniseries. Feature length. And it's just retitled to Mob Justice. And I knew nothing about this movie until I saw this, and I thought it just looked really interesting. I mean, Tony Danza in a serious role, playing a corrupt cop. You've got Sam Jackson, Ted Levine. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. I know it is just a TV movie, but that doesn't mean that it still might not be a decent film. Being a police, here's Crime Story. Jackie Chan. Body and Soul with Leon Isaac Kennedy. This actually got a remake, I believe, later on. This looks like it could be alright. Might be an okay film. Flashback with Dennis Hopper and Kiefer Sutherland. Like, what? I'm just wondering what the thought process was with this movie. Dennis Hopper plays this guy who gets sent to jail and winds up behind bars. Yeah, he was the 60s radical who was locked up and was behind bars. And then he's still got this 60s sensibility, all this stuff, and acts like a hippie, and then winds up running into Kiefer Sutherland, who's an uptight federal agent. It's just one of those movies that you're just like, when and how did this come to be? And it didn't do well, but it's an interesting movie. The Curious Case of the Cannibal Corpse. This cover art is horrible. The producer of Freddy vs. Jason, I don't even know who the fuck this guy is. I don't think he's in the movie. I only got this because it was dirt cheap. That's the only reason why. Phase 4 with not really a lot of people that are gonna ring a bell when it comes to the cast. Maybe Nigel Davenport or Michael Murphy, but interesting, weird, crazy, strange film. I know this has a Blu-ray, but I'm fine with the DVD. A lot of the film is compromised of up close footage of ants in an anthill, live in their environment. And the plot is similar to something like Bug, which is also a film from the 70s that dealt with nature gone awry. And this one deals with these weird patterns that appear in the desert after a cosmic event. Scientists investigate, and then they find out that they are the work of intelligent ants. And then it becomes kind of a apocalyptic scenario kind of film. I've always liked this cover art too, by the way. Very simple but very striking, with the black background, the title, and the ant. So Phase 4. This is actually my most recent pickup. Trigun. The Ballad of Vash the Stampede. This is the complete series of Trigun. Heard a lot of good things about it. Never really had the chance to see it. I have the film. I think I showed it in another update video. So now I have the series. Trigun didn't get released on Blu-ray, at least not yet anyway. Have this Death Comes in 3 collection with Demonic Toys 1 through 3, Ginger Dead Man 1 through 3, and all the Killjoy films. And it's all on 2 discs. So the quality is pretty shit, but it was cheap. And we're talking about pretty cheap full moon films anyway, so. I mean, I don't think the HD quality is going to make much of a difference for Killjoy 3. Speaking of 3, here we have another triple feature set with the Boogeyman films. Another trilogy that it's pretty much been forgotten about. I don't think a lot of people even remember that there were 3 of these movies. Boogeyman trilogy. Christopher Reeve and the Aviator. Miss that man so much. The Ted Bundy story with the Rocketeer himself, Bill Campbell, as Ted Bundy. It was a Lifetime original film, I think. Java Heat with Kellen Lutz and Mickey Rourke. A TV series that was very short-lived from the creator of Sledgehammer called Bullet in the Face. I think it was from like Canada. Actually, I think it's a film. I think it's a movie. Or is it a TV show? I'm confused with it. I think it was a TV show. But it only lasted for like... Yeah, it only lasted for 6 episodes. I haven't watched it yet, but I mainly only picked this up because of the fact that it's from the creator of Sledgehammer. A show that I honestly really enjoy. We've got Highlander, The Final Dimension. Why are there multiple Highlander movies? The sequel, the second one I can have some fun with. The third one's actually not awful. Well, at least not compared to the fourth movie. Or The Source. But this is still one of those things you're like, why did we have Highlander sequels? Wasn't the whole thing about there could only be one? Oh, wait, no, we found more. We weren't really necessarily correct when we said that there can only be one. There can be more than one. We just didn't know that there were more than one. It's the same logic that's probably going to apply with the new Matrix. Oh, there's more than one. The one. Stupid. They Crawl. The double feature of the Ewok movies. Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor. 2 films I actually didn't mind. I like the Battle for Endor a lot more than Caravan of Courage. But I surprisingly didn't mind those films. Honestly, I like them both more than the new Star Wars trilogy. And that's saying a lot. A film called Desierto from the director of Gravity. Blue Underground release of The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. Now this has a new Blu-ray from Synapse, but I've never seen the film and I don't want to pay the ridiculous price for the Steelbook. I really don't want to pay that for a film I've never seen. I paid it for The Kindred because I really like that film, and to me it was worth it. But for this, no, it's not worth it. I'll just take I will take this. It's a good quality release. Blue Underground does a good job. Fine with it. Paid like way less. This 8 movie collection of Crimes of Passion, which I guess was used as like a coaster or something because there's like some residue on it. Whatever. I got this for super cheap a while ago and you can just scrape it off. It's no big deal. It's one of those Mill Creek releases that has like a bunch of movies in one set. I only really got it a while back for a few titles, most of which now I already have. The ones that I really wanted. There's a couple that I don't have, like Bad Company or The Tie That Binds or The Rich Man's Wife, but really the reason why I got it I think was mainly for like DOA for the Dennis Quaid collection and Deceived because I really like that movie or Color of Night, but yeah, that's a set I really don't need anymore. To be perfectly honest, I mean, other than maybe I'll keep it for The Tie That Binds and a few other movies. The Private Eyes. Private Eyes. They're watching you. And they see your every move. Private Eyes. They're watching you. Private Eyes. They're watching you, watching you. Whoa, whoa. I'm sorry, I'm a pretty big fan of Hall & Oates. So yeah, Private Eyes with Tim Conway and Don Knotts. A pretty infamous box office flop, actually, from 1980. Another flop from 1980, The Nude Bomb, the Get Smart movie. This film called Natural City. This looked really interesting. This is a Korean sci-fi film, and looks like it might have some nice looking visuals. I like sci-fi movies like this, saying that it's like a modern Blade Runner, the Korean answer to The Matrix. It looks like a potentially intriguing film. Natural City. Cobra Kai seasons 1 and 2 on DVD. Wouldn't mind getting the other seasons if they do get a release. I mainly only got this because it was pretty cheap. It's cheaper to get this used at a store than I'm going to pay $10 for it than buy it brand new at Walmart. And speaking of shows, we have the second season of Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. I have the first season. Wouldn't mind getting the other seasons, but they're a little, for some reason, they're a little expensive. And then the next title here, and the last for like this part, because I'll probably do what I did last time, where I will record one part and then I'll combine another into it, so the video is a little bit longer. But the last one for this series of stacks is Schitt's Creek, the complete collection. If I can even speak. Only paid $20 for it, as you can see on the label. I thought it was a pretty good deal for an entire series on DVD. Heard a lot of good things about it. I like a lot of people that are involved here. Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, and look, it might be a fun show. And I like getting shows for a good deal. I mean, it's $20 for an entire series. That's a steal. Next up, we have Hard Rock Zombies. This film is ridiculous. This film is bad, but I enjoy it. It's so bad it's good for me. I know it's an acquired taste. I know some people don't think it's so bad it's good. They just think it's bad. But this is just a crazy, wild movie. An idea that is just ridiculous and dumb. And the execution is pretty bad as well. But it's just an enjoyably bad movie for me. Like, it just cracks me up. Hard Rock Zombies. I heard that it's getting a Blu-ray release sometime, possibly in 2022. And I actually would pick that up because I like I said, I get a kick out of that film, despite it being hot garbage. Night Creature, which I think, yeah, I think that might be the actual title for the film, or it might have been retitled. I know this is an older film. It makes it look like it's a newer movie, but it's not. It's an older film with Donald Pleasance. I think it's from the 70s. The Riverman. It's about the Green River Killer. Action film called Catch the Heat. back in the day in the 80s where we could make anyone a star. And sometimes it worked. That's what led to Steven Seagal having a film career. But sometimes it failed spectacularly. Like Tiana Alexandra. Like, does anybody remember this actress? Warcraft. I've heard it's like one of the better video game movies, but only if you actually play the game. Otherwise, it just kind of leaves you lost and wondering what the hell is going on. Speaking of what the hell movies, here we have Jack. A pretty big what the hell movie, WTF film. Like, what the hell is this in terms of the plot? Some kid who was born and had some disease that made it so he aged super fast. So Robin Williams plays an overgrown child. But I actually like this film. Part of it's definitely nostalgia because I grew up watching this on VHS. But the other part is I actually think it's not that bad. I think Francis Ford Coppola did a good job directing it. And I think Robin Williams was just perfect for this kind of role. If there was anyone who's going to play an overgrown child, overgrown man child, like the perfect casting is Robin Williams. And the ending of this movie always sticks with me. The speech that he gives and I think it has a good message to it. It has a good heart to it as well. So, Jack, I would like to see this get released on Blu-ray. Because the DVD is just kind of Sticks with Peter Weller, Brian Brown. Shadow Hours with Peter Weller and Balthazar Getty, as well as Rebecca Gayheart. Film called CQ. It's an interesting film that is made in the style of a 60s film. Down to the lighting, to the fashion and everything. It's a really interesting film in terms of the cinematography and art direction. The Hard Easy with Henry Thomas, Vera Farmiga, David Boreanaz, Bruce Dern, Peter Weller, Gary Busey, Nick Lachey. A action collection of ton of different films. The Base 1 and 2, some film called The Borderline, Hidden Agenda with Dolph Lundgren, The Tension with Dolph Lundgren, The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, Diplomatic Siege with Peter Weller, Daryl Hannah, and Tom Berenger, and Extreme Justice. I got this for Diplomatic Siege, and for like The Base 1 and 2, and Extreme Justice. Because the others I either already have or I don't really care. Film called Unforgettable that people have already forgotten about. I think there's like 2 films with that title, and they are both forgotten. 50-50 with Peter Weller, Robert Hayes, an action film that should not be forgotten. This is a really fun action film. Robert Hayes and Peter Weller, I thought they made a great duo. Really enjoy this one. Very underrated. Firstborn with Terry Garr, Peter Weller, Christopher Collette, another underrated film. Great drama. Would like to get this on Blu-ray, but it's a little too pricey for me. I'm okay with the DVD for right now. Good thriller. Two of the best performances by Peter Weller and Christopher Collette. Weller played such an unbelievable prick in that film, but you just love to watch him work despite him playing such a piece of shit. Prey, another film that Peter Weller also was in, but it seems like it's really more of a film for Bridget Moynihan. Sorry, butchered her last name. Film called Fatal Error with Antonio Sabato Jr. with this laughable cover art. Well, it's kind of fitting. This film sucks, so it's like the cover itself is trying to get you to stay away. It's like, no! Don't. It's a fatal error. Don't watch this. Don't. An American Werewolf in Paris. Another pretty shitty film. I know this is getting a 4K release. I don't give a fuck. I'm fine with this beat up DVD. I do not need that in 4K. Fist of Honor with Sam Jones. Cat Chaser, Peter Weller, Kelly McGillis. Did not care for this film. I thought it was pretty lame, pretty boring. I don't understand this review as gripping as a film as you're likely to see anywhere this year. Bullshit. I've had more gripping and thrilling experiences just sitting around watching my cat chase his own tail, if you're talking about Cat Chaser. Disturbing Behavior, interesting movie. Blu-ray was released by Shout Factory. It's since gone out of print. I'm alright with the MGM DVD for now. Communion, a film I'm surprised is not on Blu-ray. If it is, it's overseas or it's out of print. This is a pretty decent release from Hen's Tooth, though, if you're a fan of this one. It's got a commentary with the director and behind-the-scenes footage and stuff, and a widescreen transfer. This is a weird movie. This is one weird-ass film. The Order with Heath Ledger. The theatrical release of Dumb and Dumber, because for some stupid reason, for some really dumb reason, it's not available on Blu-ray. Only the inferior extended cut is available on Blu-ray, but you don't get the theatrical version. I do not understand this thought process by New Line. The extended cut sucks and makes these two seem like assholes, just like they were in the sequel. And it ruins the pacing, and the new jokes aren't really much of anything. This was a huge film for New Line, a huge hit, has a huge following, and this theatrical version is still not available on Blu-ray. Dumb. Alphabet City. Film called Stranded. Really only got it because it was super cheap. It's a super low budget sci-fi film. Amelia Earhart, biography, biopic. Lucas, an okay film. It's alright. Good cast. But it's just kind of there. New Rose Hotel with Christopher Walken and Willem Dafoe. Directed by Abel Ferrara. Blood Song with Ben Cross. Always been a fan of Ben Cross since I saw The Unholy. So I try to pick up films with him. Beyond the Law with Charlie Sheen. This is actually a pretty decent film, and it's a shame it's only available in full screen. I don't think it's ever been available in widescreen. Maybe on Laserdisc, I'm not sure, but it's a pretty decent film. One of Charlie Sheen's better performances, and it's just stuck at full screen. The Fear 2, Grimm, and Killer Tongue. Killer Tongue is one crazy, fucked up movie. Like, there's a scene where a guy pisses on a rock and explodes. I'm not kidding. Just whips out his dick, pisses on a rock, and the Grimm is terrible, despite the fact that it looks like it could be a fun creature feature. That monster is barely even in the movie. And the Fear films, they're semi-watchable. Blue Chips with Nick Nolte and Shaquille O'Neal. This is a really good drama. I really liked it. I thought it had one of Nick Nolte's best performances. He was really good in that. Orgasmo with Trey Parker. His superhero parody movie. Serial Bomber with Lori Petty. So I'm a big fan of hers ever since Tank Girl. The double feature of Watchers and Watchers 2, speaking about films that should be released on Blu-ray. Why are these not on Blu-ray? Come on, Vestron Collector Series. Get these out there. Along with there's sometimes they come back sequels. Heist. I really liked the original title better. Bus 657. I think that's what it was called. Instead of Heist, because that's just generic as fuck and boring. Hannibal Rising, a prequel that nobody fucking asked for and nobody needed. Who fucking remembers this? Despite the absolute shocker in every way imaginable, or all the good reviews, who fucking remembers this movie? I don't remember this movie, and I have the movie. Club Paradise with Robin Williams, Rick Moranis, film directed by Harold Ramis. Still haven't seen it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it from friends of mine. Would be a fun film to finally sit down and watch one of these days. Volcano. Enjoyable disaster movie. Good amount of spectacle. Decent direction. Tommy Lee Jones is good in it. I like the concept, as ridiculous as it is. I'd love to get this on Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is expensive as fuck and way too hard to find. Plus, it has embarrassingly awful cover art with a big head Tommy Lee Jones running away from CGI destruction with a gray filter over it for some reason. But fine with the DVD for now. I mean, if I did ever see the Blu-ray for an affordable price, I'd snag it. But until that moment, I'm not paying 50 fucking bucks for that shit. Not in a million fucking years. Then we have Splintered. A beat up copy of Fatal Instinct. Because it's kind of hard to find and was cheap. Subject 2. Ryan Reynolds comedy, Waiting. I had fun with this, but I gotta be honest, this cover art is ass. This is so terrible. And it makes it even worse with the raised like design on the, just god damn it, this cover art is so fucking shitty. Like, the film actually isn't as bad as the cover art makes it look. I mean, fuck. I mean, just look at this shit. This Photoshop bullshit, man. Terrible. Old Boy. Supposedly a classic film. Good one. That's why I picked it up. Steam Boy. Taristas. Grave Dancers. Future Shock, a sci-fi horror anthology from the 90s that barely no one talks about. Yeah, this one is really obscure. RPG with Rutger Hauer looking bored out of his goddamn mind. BTK Killer. It's one of those Uli Lamel serial killer pieces of shit. Tomb Raider double feature with the first film and the Cradle of Life. I wouldn't mind getting at least the first film on 4K or Blu-ray. The second one, I don't really give a shit about because it sucked. Fine with just having it on DVD. Forbidden World with Roger Corman. It's a cult classic. Damnation Alley. The original Gone in 60 Seconds. Animaniacs, Wacko's Wish. The I think it was a TV film. Night Shift. Saw this. It was all right. It was fun. It was a fun watch. I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was a fun watch, especially for Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton, you could see why people thought this was a star-making turn for him. Like, you could definitely see why. Oh, that's a guy we should definitely keep an eye on, based on his performance in this movie. Free Jack, sci-fi film that has all kinds of problems. I like the soundtrack. I like the cast. Emilio Estevez, Anthony Hopkins. Mick Jagger, on the other hand, was a pretty dull villain, if you even want to call him that. The action was It was a good idea. I liked the concept, how they used time travel. But it's just it's just a clusterfuck of a movie. Like, I agree with critics when it comes to that one. I just didn't really care for it. Galaxy Express 999. Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. This is a good one. This is a definitely noteworthy film. I would say it features one of Kevin Bacon's best performances. Some really great direction by James Wan. Great use of lighting and shadow and angles and camera techniques. Very brutal, violent action sequences. Really does a good job showcasing the casualties of revenge, but it's not it's not a film that really is going to provide that catharsis that you are necessarily looking for in a film like this. It's what helps it stand out from a lot of films like it, but it's also something that kind of holds it back because you just don't have that catharsis at the end. It's just very bleak, and then you don't really get that moment where you're like, oh, get him. There's not really that big satisfying moment when it comes to like the leader of the gang who gets his ass kicked. It's a more artistic take on it. Holidays, a horror anthology with a bunch of different shorts that are centered around different holidays throughout the year. I think Kevin Smith did one of them. Daddy's Home. Because sometimes I actually don't mind watching dumb comedies. Good way to waste some time. Kill some time. Don't even have to really necessarily review it, just watch it. Hopefully it makes me laugh a few times. It's somewhat entertaining. Found. Meatballs. The soundtrack to me is more memorable than the whole film. And like a couple scenes. Definitely the dialogue where Bill Murray's like, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. But a lot of the other stuff, very just predictable, kind of cliche, just kind of With summer camp comedies, there are ones that I definitely prefer more. I know a lot of people would probably disagree, but I like Heavyweights a lot more than Meatballs. But Meatballs is still okay. It's watchable. Time waster. Cello. National Lampoon's Class Reunion. This film is fucking terrible. This is so bad. And this was their answer, I think, to National Lampoon's Animal House. Like, the next film they did after Animal House, I think might have been this one, or it was Movie Madness. Both of them suck, but I'd rather watch Movie Madness than this. This is just atrocious, embarrassing. What the fuck? Like, really? So bad. One of the worst films I've ever seen. I'm not exaggerating. I'm being completely 100% honest about it. And then we have the last two. Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos. Pretty decent film. Really to me personally, could honestly deserve a little bit more recognition. Blu-ray release would probably be nice. And then Battle Beyond the Stars. Fun sci-fi action movie by Roger Corman and company. Directed by Jimmy T. Murakami, which is well known for having the spaceship that has tits. It's the tit ship. I don't know why, but it does. It has fucking tits. It's a spaceship with tits. Battle Beyond the Tits. But anyway, thanks for watching this installment of my DVD collection, and until next time, see you later. See ya.